There seems to be a lot of controversy surrounding Islam's decision to move up in weight because it robs us of the greatest fight in recent history, that being Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Not only the fans share this sentiment, the one and only GOAT son had a lot to say about it too.
You are so interested in getting away from this guy that you not only leave your belt, you leave your division, and the whole thing is only contingent that you don't have to fight Islam. Not for nothing. This is not the way champions conduct themselves. That's not a sign of courage. That's a sign of cowardice.
Before I continue, I ask that you like and subscribe if you've already seen my content or enjoyed this video because it really helps the channel. Thank you. Islam found out about this and wasn't going to let that slide, so his response was, chasing hype and money is not the same as chasing greatness in sport, but average athlete who built his way to the top with cheap trash talk won't understand that. So please sit and watch how others doing it, Uncle Chael. Hashtag double champ. There's a part of me that thinks Ali Abdelaziz is the one who tweeted that, but when you look at history, this is consistent with Islam's character. There's this whole narrative about how these guys from Dagestan are humble, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. When you look at the nature of the sport, it's about dominating your opponent, getting in their heads, trash talk, and I just don't see a lot of truly humble fighters in the UFC. Of course, some of them are there, but I just don't think Islam is one of them. When you look at some of the stuff he said in the past, bro, like when he said Charles Oliveira is the champ, yet he has 9 losses on his record. That's a bad look for the division. He made fun of Alexander Volkanovski's height. He did the same thing with Dustin, making fun of his gilly. Bro, this dude trash talks just like Drickus, but people don't realize it. Of course, Drickus probably does it a little more, and he reacts to pretty much everything everyone says. But at the same time, Islam has 4 title defenses. How many do you think warrants the pursuit of double champ status? 3. And for him to break the lightweight record and people still deny him of a title shot at welterweight is just beyond me. But I still find it so ironic and laughable that people think Islam is actually afraid of Ilia Topuria. Let's say I wanted to avoid a technical, powerful boxer with good takedown defense. What's the best way of doing that? Oh, maybe going up a division and fighting an even bigger technical boxer with good takedown defense. On paper, JDM is a much more tough matchup than Ilia Topuria, and it has nothing to do with skill. Skill-wise, Ilia is a more dangerous boxer because he has more KOs at the highest level. Ilia knocked out 2 of the greatest featherweights in UFC history, that being Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, whereas JDM is struggling to put out an old man, Gilbert Burns, losing 2 of the first rounds officially, then eventually getting a knockout in the third. Ilia also has a proven ability to wrestle both defensively and offensively, as well as threaten some submissions, whereas JDM is a good boxer with good takedown defense and an ability to reverse from the clinch. But none of that's going to matter when Islam faces JDM because time and time again, MMA has proven that regardless of how much the skill difference is, size will play a role, and Ilia Topuria is 5'1". You know, he doesn't even go to carnivals anymore because he has to watch his girlfriend enjoy the rides while he just stands there because he doesn't meet the minimum height requirements. And I don't care how much power he packs, he's not going to easily knock out Islam, especially knowing that his only performance at lightweight was against Jai Herbert, which is one of his toughest fights yet. And don't get me wrong, I actually think Jai Herbert was a pretty decent fighter in his prime because after his loss to Ilia Topuria, he racked up 2 wins, one of which was against Ludovic Klein, where he outstruck and outgrappled him. That same Ludovic Klein has a win over Ignacio Barmundez and is scheduled to fight Mateusz Gamrot, and there's a chance he's going to win the fight. But Jai Herbert is no Islam Makhachev, and I know that MMA math doesn't make any sense, but still, on paper, Islam is a really dangerous opponent for Ilia Topuria because up until this point in his career, he hasn't faced any solid grapplers aside from Bryce Mitchell and Alexander Volkanovski. I think Volk is the best because he has good ground and pound in the clinch game, but I don't think it's enough of a threat for Ilia to really be concerned, especially knowing that he's a BJJ black belt and comes from a Greco-Roman wrestling background. When he was young, he had aspirations of becoming an Olympic wrestler, so he might actually be a better wrestler than Volk, and the only reason we don't have conclusive evidence to back up that claim is because his striking is so good that he seldom wrestles. But the few times we did see him wrestle, I just don't think it was that impressive. 2 people that gave him trouble on the feet was Jai Herbert and Yusuf Zalal. Both times he did wrestle offensively, but he was only able to control them and land maybe a few minimal ground and pound shots. But I still don't think it was damaging enough for us to really be concerned. Because keep in mind, you won't only control your opponent, you have to do some offensive grappling, be it ground and pound or submission threats. And do you really think someone like Ilia Topuria is going to submit Islam? Islam's biggest game plan is probably going to be his Darce choke, and there are very few people that can actually defend it. I actually think the only person that could possibly do it is Arman Sarukian, because he has proven to have a lot of heart, especially in his fight against Charles Oliveira. And even if Islam doesn't get the Darce, I still think he'll be able to win by controlling Ilia to a decision. And remember, he has very dynamic takedowns, be it the double legs, takedowns from the clinch, or the single legs. His biggest strength are takedowns from the clinch because he comes from a combat sambo background, be it the judo throws or the trips. He can use that against Ilia Topuria, and I don't see Ilia defending that. Watch his fight against Arman Sarukian, and you'll notice that whenever they won the clinch, Islam had the upper hand. He was the one landing the judo throws, the judo thrips. And Arman Sarukian comes from a freestyle wrestling background, so you could see he was trying to toss Islam around, but he just couldn't, even when they were in the clinch. But we all know that Ilia isn't actually going to wrestle Islam. He knows he's a powerful technical boxer, so his best bet is to win via knockout, because a decision win would imply that he would defend the wrestling of Islam for 5 rounds straight, and I just don't see that happening because of the size. That's where JDM comes into the picture, because he's longer both vertically and horizontally, having a 1 inch height advantage and a 3 inch reach advantage. Whether you like it or not, that is going to play a role. And let's not even get to the takedown defense. Notice how Bilal Muhammad, who comes from a wrestling background, he only had 2 years of college wrestling, which may not seem like a lot, but he was able to supplement that with MMA wrestling and has shot some of the best double legs and clinch takedowns in the welterweight division. I actually think him and Sean Brady are currently the best wrestlers in the welterweight division, for now at least. And despite all that experience, Bilal still wasn't able to take down JDM until the 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. And it wasn't with the cross takedown that he used on Leon Edwards or a double leg. It was literally using JDM's momentum against him, meaning that Bilal wasn't strong enough to take down JDM using traditional methods, which is a testament of JDM's takedown defense. Islam will probably be able to take JDM down once, twice, maybe even thrice. But what's going to happen in between the intervals? JDM's diverse skill set is just too much for Islam. Whether we're talking 5 punch combos, head movement, blocking, pull counters, pivoting. I honestly think Ilia Topuria and JDM are the most well-rounded boxers the sport has ever seen. On the feet, Islam has nothing for JDM. I'm sorry. A huge part of Islam's game is his counters, and he's exceptionally good at it. The difference between Bilal Muhammad and Islam, they're both good at counters, but Bilal is a reactionary counter. He doesn't counter because there's an opening. He counters because you hit him. He doesn't want you to win on points. Islam has better shot selection. He'd much rather circle the octagon and wait for the right time to counter than to risk you countering his counter. JDM really capitalized on Bilal's impulsiveness, because he would throw a straight punch, then either dip his head in anticipation of a counter or pivot, and then Bilal would counter, missing. Then if JDM was lucky enough, Bilal would have left an opening, allowing JDM to have a counter for that counter, which is pretty insane. And I think we'd see the same result if he faced Islam Makhachev. That is why I'm personally picking JDM to beat Islam. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.